All right. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to wherever it is in the world you are streaming here on Twitter as well as on YouTube and Twitch. Friday. Oh, I'm on the wrong internet, I think. I'm on the wrong. Damn it, I always forget to switch. That's too bad. Hopefully this internet works. That's okay. Well, my friends, we have made it to the end of the week, and the stars have aligned that we have ourselves the first Game 7 in NBA Finals, first NBA Finals Game 7 since 2016. I imagine that's going to be the topic of conversation today, but this stream is a live Q&A, so I'm at the mercy of the community and the commenters here, as I'll allow you a couple minutes of opportunity to pile up into this chat, say what's up. What are you guys up to on this beautiful Friday? Oh my God, is it nice out? 70, sunny, maybe a cloud in the distance or two. There's been some shitty weather across the country right now. Here in the United States, the East is about to, they've been getting hit with storms all month, and now they're about to be hit with like 100+ degree heat for several days with a heat dome. I will never live on the East Coast for the rest of my life for a lot of those reasons. You get about one nice month of weather. Everything else sucks. Ugh, and I don't want to hear that we love the seasons here on the East Coast. You're only saying that because you have no other choice. No one loves freezing ass weather. No one loves 110 degree weather in the same climate. You've really become a weather snob when you move to California. It is true. I didn't think it would be true, but it is most certainly true. On that note, what's happening? What's up, Roman? Good to see you in the chat. Mike at Night is here. White Mama says, was at Gainbridge last night. I have been in a similar building back in 1994 with Game 6 between the Knicks and the Pacers with Spike Lee sitting courtside. That was a loud Market Square Arena. That was a loud atmosphere. I can only imagine what it was like there last night. Even with the blowout, I found that to be pretty enthralling because of the TJ McConnell factor. I'm convinced at this point, because I bet on the Thunder, man. I bet the Thunder big, and I'm stuck this week as a result. I thought they would walk in there and just run that team over, especially with Halliburton, all sorts of limpy and gimpy. Look good at a 10-2 start. That was the biggest lead they would have all night. But Mark Daigneault has a TJ McConnell problem. He's got a TJ McConnell problem because when he comes onto the floor, you're going to have to start paying attention to him like he is Tyrese Halliburton, like he is as Shea, the way that he's been dribble penetrating. Are we having to talk about sending Alex Caruso to face guard that man? He could get anything he wanted. Those pull-up jumpers and then getting the defense to collapse on top of him. The smallest guy on the floor had 8 rebounds. 8! And one of those happened to be offensive. You know, the offensive rebound he got was against Isaiah Hartenstein, who's a full foot taller than he is. And it's those little plays from TJ McConnell, because Halliburton can go on a personal 8-0 run, Siakam and Nembhard, and the crowd will react accordingly because there's an expectation due to them being the starters and or the stars. But when TJ McConnell does it, the contagiousness of that momentum. There were Pacers players on the floor waving towels around their heads in a helicopter motion and slamming them on the floor. And it's just like a 2-0 run because of TJ McConnell stepping into the passing lanes and setting someone up. It sets the building ablaze. And the Pacers are able to channel that inspiration. And Mark Daigneault has to increase the priority of stopping TJ McConnell. Can you believe he was only on the floor for like 23 minutes last night? Felt like an eternity. And it probably would have been less if it wasn't a blowout because Tyrese Halliburton didn't re-enter the game. They have a TJ McConnell problem. And Mark Daigneault's not going to fix something that's not broken. He's not going to make wholesale changes and overhaul that defensive scheme going into a Game 7 to stop a guy off the bench. But he is getting whatever he wants. And a Pacers team that's going to be on the road without 20,000 people, allies, providing that adrenaline and inspiration, that Pacers team's going to look to TJ McConnell to ignite them with those type of plays so that they feel those same sentiments that they had in games 3, 4, and 6. How did I enjoy the Stanley Cup Finals? Asks Germzamo. I enjoyed it much because I bet on 3 games and I hit all 3. I bet on I bet on the second game the Oilers won, and then I bet the Panthers to win by 1.5 goals in 2 games. The last 2, I think. Yeah, the last 2, and they both covered, so that was nice. Can we get a shoe pick for Game 7? I can't go to the well on my shoe picks more than every couple of months, because if people start figuring out it's a bit, they'll stop being baited by it. Like the comments are 1,000 people that are new to the shoe pose experience, and they very clearly are not in on the joke. That's the whole point of doing them. If I keep doing them every week, then people are going to figure it out. It's 110 over there in Palm Springs. Yeah, in my place in Vegas, it looked like it was getting, thermometer said 110. And since I live on the eastern side of Las Vegas, it's 5 degrees hotter than the rest of Las Vegas where we live. So on a day where it's like 105 in Vegas, it's 110. And then it gets up into like 115. Boy, is that toasty. I'd still rather deal with that than New Orleans heat. Miami heat's not the same. It's humid and hot in Miami, but you guys have a breeze. There is no breeze in New Orleans. There's no breeze. The only breeze you're getting is from people farting and puking from Bourbon Street. That's the hottest place I've ever been on the planet. Not thermometer wise, because it only gets up into like the low to mid 90s. It is so dauntingly humid and hot because of the Gulf. Ugh. Carly says, I'd be a millionaire if I had $1 for every WOB weather rant I heard. Well, when in Rome. Life's too short. Life is too short to not be spending your time in a climate where every single day is between 65 and 70 degrees. And I know I mentioned this earlier this week, and everyone was saying, well, because we can't afford to. My apartment in West Hollywood was like $800 a month. What are you talking about? This weather's not, we can't afford this weather. There's places, Los Angeles is a city that takes 2 hours to drive around. You can find somewhere to stay within your budget. Don't give me that whole, we're not rich, you can't enjoy that weather. You got to pay a lot of taxes. You're not making money, then you don't have to worry about taxes. Joke's on you. Come on, man. But yeah, East Coast, first of all, I guess if you're a girl, it's better because the dude to girl ratio in New York City and Manhattan is the opposite of what it is here in Los Angeles. So the ratio, the weather, it just smells. There's nothing about New York City other than the culture that is intriguing to me. Sorry, I was just at the beach before I came here. You can't do that in New York. OKC by a landslide or very close. That will come down to a few points, no in between. You just named every possibility. Here's what's going to happen in Game 7. OKC is going to win. The game will qualify as in the clutch, which means score differential of 5 points or less in the final 5 minutes. And then OKC will pull away late with a couple big shots, some fouls, and they'll end up winning by double digits. 8.5 point spread. Speaking of, let's bring in our partners here at ProfitX. What do we got, fellas? All right. Let's see where this line is at now. It's at 8. Okay. You can get it at 8 here on ProfitX. And there's plenty of liquidity around those hooks. I got burned last night. I took the Thunder last night, and then I took the second half over, and then I took the Pacers on the money line in the second half. And because Jalen Williams, the J-Will version, decided to turn into Ray Allen, the Pacers went from up by 30 to up by 17, and that lost too. Fuck. That was so close. That paid 3-1, the Pacers to win the second half straight up. And they were up by 8 points going to the fourth. Couldn't hold. And they had Ben Shepherd and Obi Toppin out there for a pretty considerable amount of time. But we got there with the Lou Dort prop unders as well as the Halliburton prop unders. So if I'm going to give you guys an actual bet, an actual something let's put something, because remember the plays that we have from the beginning of this series. Let me put these on the screen. We've got any NBA Finals game to go to overtime. Nope. That's looking good. And then Shai Gilgeous-Alexander to win 2025 Finals MVP at -500. That's looking good in the event they win that game 7. So that was saving us a couple of cents on the original money line of the series. But let's go back to the markets for game 7 here. TJ makes you play defense. I see that in the chat, man. He is a demon. He is a nuisance. He's been driving me nuts since he was on the Sixers. All right, let's look at these point totals. Yeah, like Lou Dort. See, Lou Dort is going to be left open a lot more than he was. A lot more in this game 7. Did you guys see the seconds? Or I don't expect you to have second spectrum, but that game 7 or game 6 was the highest frequency of double teams that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander faced in this entire series. And it was reminiscent to me of when Karl-Anthony Towns, between games 4 and 5, recognized that the weak side help was coming from the other side of the floor in Andrew Nembhard, so that he had to really expedite his downhill pressure on the rim to try and take advantage of Pascal Siakam with his own size, force him to defend vertically. I am afraid that Indiana is just going to keep throwing bodies at Shai so that he has to throw those cross-court passes to Lou Dort. And the Pacers are saying, man, if you want to make those shots, go right ahead. We will tip our hat and shake your hand. I feel like that's going to be the case. So I'm almost tempted to go with Lou Dort's over because of how many open threes I expect him to get as opposed to last night. God, Shai's point total, 33.5. Good grief. This one right here is the one I like. Halliburton under 15.5. And I understand he really picked it up there. He picked it up in the second quarter, and he barely crossed the 13.5 threshold, got taken out of the game, but he's still laboring out there for sure. See him much more as a catch and shoot guy and distributor. But he's going to be out there pretty heavy minutes. But in the event of an OKC blowout, Tyrese Halliburton is coming off the floor. You better believe it, the same way at the end of the third. So for now, let's just put in a little bit on Tyrese. Tyrese is under 15.5. This number's up from 13.5. All right. That's my pick for now. I like Lou Dort over, Tyrese Halliburton under, and Chet Holmgren, man. Where have you been? That was a disaster last night. He is so irrelevant. All right. What else you got in the chat? Sorry, it took me a minute. Got to keep our partners happy here at Prophet X. Shout out to you guys out there. You guys really saw someone in the chat, YO, saying Hallie is not injured, okay? He's injured, but of course they're going to be using it as a strategical advantage. But you better believe OKC is preparing for this game as if he's a completely healthy. He's not, but they're not letting the media persuade them and change up their tactics so that they reassign Lou Dort from Tyrese Halliburton to TJ McConnell. That's just not going to happen. Now, we might find out after the finals when he goes to get an MRI that there was like a tear there or something and he was playing through something crazy, but it's all hands on deck. It's game 7. These games are Monopoly chance cards of basketball. Home court advantage does not matter. All that OKC has built, the equity they have built with only losing 2 games, all playoffs long at home, one of which was the Aaron Gordon shot after Chet Holmgren missed those free throws too. God, he's been not great these playoffs. And Halliburton's game 1 shot. Takes something special to beat them. 101 in Denver. Good grief. What's it at the No Name Saloon? Anyone there? I can't imagine it's 101. How's the end of the season video coming along? So it's up to 20. It's going to be like 24 minutes. And I like to keep it 20 or less. And I used to do them 10 minutes because that's the most amount of time that Twitter would allow you to publish a video. but now it's 24 and I'm looking for areas to cut it down. There's just so much shit that happened and so many crazy buzzer beaters. You remember when the Pistons and the Heat were playing an NBA Cup game at the beginning of the season and Eric Spoelstra called the timeout and we had the Jalen Rose moment where he was doing the whole, like, there's so many of those. Ja Morant was in the news that I pulled ABC World News leading off their show talking about Ja Morant because of the Instagram video with the gun. Like, it just never, there's news so much, so many events and news items to recognize. I'm like, this video is going to be 25 minutes long. And I wouldn't even consider it to be more dramatic than the year that the bubble, COVID, Kobe, that was a 10-minute video. But it's done. The video is done. All I need is Game 7 highlight, trophy celebration, and a post-game quote, and then it's done. What I'm working on this weekend is I got this absolute banger for Sunday. Most of you aren't old enough to remember the NBA on NBC hype video for Game 7 between the Knicks and the Rockets at the Summit, but I'm remixing it and including all of the major moments as a part of the montage. And if you remember the music, it's so dramatic. It's so good. Bob Costas is narrating it. It's also generic and it's evergreen. So I can take his words and it'll apply perfectly. I'm going to redo the intro. Last night I spent time with the NBA on NBC guy. That's like, this is the NBA on NBC. Game 7 of the 1994 NBA Finals. I took that voice and I found an AI website where I was able to replicate it and just change it from Knicks, Rockets to Thunder, Pacers, and it sounds almost identical. So I've got the audio down. Now I need to start editing the video and making it look good. It's a 2-minute video that's going to take me 2 full days. So after I'm done betting on baseball tonight, I'm going to stay up, edit that video, and then spend most of Saturday finalizing it. And there's so many cuts. There's like 40 videos I got to download for a 2-minute because each video lasts half of a second. And then it's like flash transition. I got to layer each of them. And then I'll drop it Sunday morning before Game 7 to build up the hype for it. But I'll tag NBA on NBC. This is my way of pitching to them. Like, I'm spending this entire offseason trying to get in the creative side there so I can be a part of the brand moving forward because it's my favorite brand on earth. And certainly would like to contribute. And this is going to be my, like, you want my resume? Watch this video. This is what you get. Otherwise, I'm going to do it anyway, and you're going to have to do it without me. And I'm going to make mine look better than yours. So you better take note. But other than that, yeah, it's going to be a busy weekend. Then Sunday's the game. Got the 2.5-hour post-game show I got to do after. Yeah, we're not even close to the finish line because this Game 7, and then Monday, Antonio's back on the show with Give and Go, and then we're going to react to it. There's going to be a parade, then the draft right away. There's going to be trades everywhere. Then we go into moratorium free agency. Then we go into summer league. We are not even close to the season being over. Not even close. Almost a full month away. How many properties do I own? Mind your own business. Was there a finals video this year? I looked for it and couldn't find one. There wasn't. I decided not to do the pre-series hype video because I like doing it in the same format that I did the Lakers Heat. There has to be like that Kyrie going back to Boston narrative. It's got to be LeBron versus Pat Riley with the Heat and the Lakers to be worthy of that format with the music and everything. This series didn't have it. The series was just about the hoop. But now that we've got the Game 7, I can spend my time 2 days, those 2 days that it usually takes me, full 2-day efforts, like 8 to 10 hours a piece to do those finals hype videos because of all the graphics and the transitions and the cuts and the editing, the filters and the layers. I'm going to be doing that with that 94 NBA on NBC remix. To this point, who would even be the MVP if the Pacers win? Siakam. Yeah. If TJ, it's not completely crazy to think if TJ has another 18 points or assisted quarter like he did in game 5, what he did in game 6 with that ludicrous stat line, if he goes out there and just leads the team in scoring, I think he might get some consideration. He won't win, but it'll be close. Yeah, so let's talk about this. T-Lev asked Halliburton 30-10 in a clutch shot to win. Is he finals MVP? He's not, but he will go down. If he hits, guys, Amin and I talked about this on the show today, and we didn't give it any thought originally. It just kind of came up naturally in conversation. Considering what Halliburton has done to close out the Milwaukee Bucks with that shot, the moment standing on the scorer's table, the New York Knicks shot, the step back on Ty Jerome, game 2, game 1, NBA Finals, and then if he hits a buzzer beater to close out the finals, we went through like Chauncey Billups, Big Shot Bob, everyone that Jamal Murray, trying to think of all of these candidates who have had some of the most clutch performances in the playoffs ever. And we just couldn't come to a conclusion that any of them would be worthy of what Halliburton has done in one run. And that he won't win a conference finals MVP nor a finals MVP. It's nuts, but that one shot was carrying the narrative of this series for him for quite some time because it hasn't been a great series for him in totality. He's just so absurdly clutch because it's always Halliburton. So if he ends up hitting a buzzer beater as this big of an underdog that the Pacers were being booked as, it's easily the greatest playoff run, individual playoff run in league history from a clutch standpoint. Not even close. Because Chauncey Billups had 1 or 2, and then they were usually spread out over multiple teams and multiple seasons. The same with Big Shot Bob and like Derek Fisher. And Kobe's shots were like there was one signature moment from each of the titles. Last night, the spin pass from Tyrese Halliburton to Siakam's poster on J-Dub, that's the signature moment, right? This is a long comment, right? Read this in a Hubie Brown voice. You're OKC. You're so young. Maybe the youngest team to make the finals. You can't shoot threes. You're lucky that you're set up. Okay, this is too long. I can't do that. Even though it hasn't been big-time markets in the finals, says Mike. It's been a decent series. Decent? This is as good of a finals as we've had since I can remember from start to finish. Like there's finals, for example, like 2016 is my favorite finals because of game 7, not because of all the games. I enjoyed game 6 and game 7 a lot, as well as game 4 when Draymond got ejected. So that's less than 50%. But yeah, I mean, with all of the problems that ABC and ESPN have had with the game presentation and the pageantry, like the basketball is the most important. And if you can check that box, everything else is kind of not nearly as important. Basketball's been great, so people are watching regardless of these characters on the pregame show and the presentation feeling like a Wednesday night game between the Wizards and the Hornets. Is my radio show all year round or taking a hiatus soon? We'll run through Summer League, and then after that it's sporadic. It'll just be like a couple days every couple of weeks. And then it's usually crazy topics, like it's summer topics. But I'm going to be traveling for most of the summer, so I'm going to have to find a way to do that show when I'm like in some random hotel in Greece or Japan or something. Kawhi 2019. Did he hit the shot to close out Golden State in that game 6? I remember him screaming at the camera as it zooms in with Mike Breen. Oh, and then the shot, obviously, against the 76ers. What was the signature moment other than Kevin Durant getting hurt of the 2019 finals? What's up, Coach Nick? Two teams that full court press. Did you notice last night that Indiana took the press off? I'm sure you did. That was interesting. There was no full court pressure last night, maybe to preserve Halliburton a little bit, but I didn't notice as much. OKC's been backing up a little bit too. So game 7 is going to be played in the half court. As fast as these teams, game 7s are always rock fights. Always rock fights. And I have to imagine it's going to be 3 veteran officials. It's probably Scott Foster, Ed Malloy, and whoever. They put the whistles away, and there's going to be a lot of fouls that are not called. Clay's free throws. Was that Clay's free throws after he tore his ACL? That wasn't the signature moment of the finals. Any plans on visiting Germany soon? No, I've been to Munich in the last 2 years, so probably not. When's the next time I'm visiting Chapel Hill? I've been back twice total since I graduated in 2009, so. OKC's offense still went stagnant without being slowed down in the backcourt. Still went, game 6 was, So that game 6 was the fewest amount of points that OKC has scored all season long. Crazy. Let's go through some of these other stats that I pulled up. So this was the 4th largest win to force a game 7 in NBA Finals history. First game since December 2022 that Shea had more turnovers than made field goals, 8 versus 7. And that was coming off of a game in game 5 where his 0 assist game was the first time he had done that since the bubble. And then he made up for that with 10 assists after. But it's going to have to be one of those one-dimensional, go win us a title, SGA. He's going to be in the mid-range with his back turned to the rim. He's going to have Andrew Nembhard draped all over him. Whether they send that second body or not is what I'm looking out for. Because if they do, then it's going to be up to Lou Dort. It's going to be up to Caruso to be making shots on the other side of the floor because Shea always chooses the right item from the menu. It's the difference between him and Anthony Edwards. When that double team comes, he will hit Lou Dort, Aaron Wiggins, whoever, on the hands, catch and shoot. Not at the ankles, not that they have to move off their spot. He will cross-court pass, hit them at the right timing, not too soon, not too late. But if they force the ball out of his hands, then someone else is going to have to make shots. Let's see what else. OKC Thunder went scoreless for nearly 7 minutes of game time, the longest final scoring drought of the past 20 years. All because the Pacers were able to lock down in half-court sets. It's supposed to be the Thunder with that historic perimeter defense with those guys that if we're playing a half-court game, it feels like OKC is going to blow the doors off of you because Indiana wants to be in the fast break, the open floor, and pace and space. And last night, I watched 12-2 be the turnover mark at halftime with points conceded off of turnovers, 16-2. All series long, the multiple of turnovers to points conceded off of turnovers has been only 1x for OKC, when for a majority of these playoffs, it had been 2x. So if they force 10 turnovers, they score 20 points off of them. And even in victory, Indiana has been able, that game 1, for example, when they turn the ball over like madmen, they're still able to get back and hold the line defensively so that OKC is not able to utilize their most powerful weapon, which is converting live ball turnovers into points. At this point, it's game 7. There's no more trying to predict what's going to happen. It's more so start throwing darts and figure out who's going to be Shane Battier. Who's going to make those 6 threes? Who's going to be Mike Miller? Who's going to attempt the Kyrie shot? Who's going to try it? It's either going to be heroic or hilarious. That I can tell you. What's going to be the signature moment from this game 7, blocked by James? Do you remember the dunk that LeBron barely missed on Draymond? Like that would have been known. Blocked by James would have been second somehow, some way, if LeBron finishes that dunk on Draymond. That's a statue dunk that they might even change the logo to, considering the magnitude of the moment. Yeah, I think the stars are aligning that Scott Foster is going to be game 7, right? Was he game 4? Yeah, he should be available then. That OKC stretch had to have been the longest scoreless streak in a finals game. The longest finals scoring drought of the past 20 years, 7 minutes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And man, it's just Indiana's relentless downhill pressure and pace. And I found this stat from Tom Haberstroh. In this series, he has measured, and he found the stat on NBA stats that the Pacers have 705 more passes than the Thunder do. Passes, completed passes in this series. 700 more. And Aaron Wiggins told us on Sirius XM this week, like we're very comfortable playing at pace. We were one of the fastest paced teams in the league, and we train for it. We practice and scheme and game plan. And what the Pacers do is just on such a different level. And if they pull this shit off, if they're able to pull this off, I told you coming into it, I thought the Thunder would run them over in 5 games because everything that got Indiana to this point, right, with their space and the way that they play, I'm like, OKC can replicate that and also do it much better. That's your problem, Indiana. And if they end up winning game 7, that hypothesis will be true, but the teams will be wrong. It will be the Thunder who have thought we can do this better than you, when no. The Pacers are saying we're the superior despite all of these historical accomplishments that you have with that perimeter defense. Believe it or not, ours is better. That I would have never seen coming. Will this stream keep going after Sunday? It will until the end of June. And then we're taking a little summer hiatus. And then I will return with Prophet X. I will return at the beginning of next season for at least a couple months. Shout out to our partners, by the way. If you guys continue to support them, we'll keep doing these streams. It's that simple. You guys need an exchange, if you need an avenue to get in some prop bets or do what you do, this is the site that our community uses, and we certainly hope that you consider them if this is a decision that you want to make with your money. No pressure, but if you're like me, I'm betting baseball and shit. Like I need somewhere to take that action. All right. This series, Mike says, this series has all the similarities as the Mavs 2011 against the Heat. That's if the Pacers win it anyway. It has to feel like that, in my opinion. Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I see what you're getting at. But the Denver Nuggets series from the semifinals is a much more accurate comparison in my mind. I see you got an account on Blue Sky. Do I plan on posting there anytime soon? No. Did Wob give out his Prophet X picks of the day yet? I took, you can see on the right side of the screen here, I took Tyrese Halliburton's under 15.5 in game 7. There's a blowout potential, injury potential, Lou Dort. There's a lot of ways out to win this bet. That's how most of his prop combinations got there in game 6. His points went over by the hook, but P was the only prop that got there. PR, PA, RA, PRA, they all got there. All the unders got there. How will I celebrate if NBC were to hire you? That what I want to do with them is the creative of the game presentation, like the pregame show and stuff, the monologues and the way that they make it look. Like for a lot of people, what's your favorite brand? Ferrari, Gucci, Versace, Ralph Lauren. Everyone has their Supreme. Is that what the kids wear nowadays? Everyone has like their brand that they enjoy. For me, it's NBA on NBC. It's like my favorite thing in the world. My parents, they were both in sales on the advertising side, and they met there. So there's a little family legacy. That's how I got to go to all the games when I was a kid. And it's NBA on NBC for a millennial is like the most valuable, nostalgic currency possible. If you were a kid in the 90s, that was the coolest shit ever when NBC got an NBA game. And they're eventually going to have to hire people that decide what it looks like. For example, if you let me in that kitchen, I will be pitching, not putting the score bug on the screen the way that NBC made famous. You show the score for a couple seconds and then you just go blank screen, let the basketball speak for itself. That kind of stuff. Like they're going to have to get a group together and figure out what this looks like and getting your way into that writer's room, if you will. It's what we're trying to do. Porsche, that's a good one. You remember LeBron sold that foul from Draymond like he had been hit from point blank range with a Halo shotgun. He was down convulsing. And then he had to stand up and make free throws, and he healed like he always does because he's got adamantium, but he really sold that one. He was pitching if we lose this game, I'm going out on my shield, and I owe the city of Cleveland this. He did a great job because, man, that had to feel so good after all they went through. And I'm hoping KD gets a chance at his OKC redemption in the same way. What if KD shows up to Game 7? What if KD shows up to Game 7? Is that a possibility? He's a hoop head. I might put that on Twitter and see if we can get him to respond. I'm not going to tag him because he has to be able to search his name. No score bug feels crazy. Well, it was also crazy at the time. The score wasn't on the screen, nor was the time they would put it up there every time that there was a new possession, then you take it off. I'm trying to limit the number of the things on the screen, not add more, because right now it looks like a NASCAR hood. But yeah, if they were to let me in there and let me cook, there will be some heavy nostalgia that not everyone will agree with, but I will resurrect the brand the way it was supposed to be, which is respecting tradition. KD wearing a Sonics jersey. No, stop. Sitting courtside. I just want him to appear like Sting watching from the rafters. I might have to put that tweet out there in a couple minutes once we're done here. I feel like announcing the lineups immediately. Didn't it? And we only delayed tip-off by 3 minutes. All you had to do was show the starting lineups, even though those videos are terrible. Oh my God. Those are like the most Gen Z videos in the world. The music and like the way that it's cut and edited. I'm like, I can't even look at it. It's giving me a headache. But I'm not going to complain about, there's bigger fish to fry. But yeah, it was nice to see the introductions. It just adds the pageantry and the pomp and circumstance to a big game feel. That's all. Right. Well, KD's online right now. I think I can bait him into a response. I'm just going to say, I think Kevin Durant should sit courtside for Game 7. See what happens. Yeah, I don't like Reggie Miller still to this day, but it was pretty cool to see him sitting courtside, and he's also in the signature moment from that Siakam dunk last night with the Halliburton spin pass. He's standing there with his kid in a Jalen Rose jersey. Yeah, as much as I don't like Reggie, and I have to admit it was okay. It felt a bit awkward. Need some. What are you talking about? The KD tweet or something else? What are you guys betting on tonight? You know who I really need to win? I will be a happy camper if these Tampa Bay Rays win tonight. I am on the Tampa Bay Rays. It appears everyone is on the Tigers, and look at this liquidity. Oh my God. I am on the Rays. Go Rays, go. I lost the Cubs earlier today. I'm not pleased about it. It felt a bit awkward. Need some fine tuning. Yeah, the lineup announcements. Yeah, it's fine. I appreciate the effort more than the distraction of it not being executed properly. The Knicks would have advanced the series. The Knicks probably would have gotten swept. They can't run like this. Just going to go into the offseason without a coach, I guess. Here we go again. Victims of their own success. I wish I didn't bet against Cal Raleigh. This dude has like 29 homers. It's June 20th. Jesus, this guy, every time he touches the baseball, it explodes. All right, friends. Well, chat's getting quiet. I think we need to start to get ready for it's Friday. It's 4:00. You know what that usually means. It's not payday here in Los Angeles, but it is Friday rush hour. And I am going to be making spaghetti with meat sauce tonight. So it has been 5 days since I last had it. Right on schedule. We could be chasing. And I'm not going out tonight because I'm working on the video, so I will be around. There might be some boogity. Might just be some boogity. Rank my favorite sports other than the NBA. To watch. Okay. College football. Baseball. MLB. NASCAR. In no particular order. I used to be much bigger with like Manchester City, but then they turned into Manchester United. I kind of lost interest. Like FIFA World Cup, but Olympics, does that count? Because those are every 4 years. I don't think those count. I think you're just referencing the major sports, but NASCAR, baseball, and college football by far. And least favorites are NFL. I don't watch much hockey, even though the playoffs is awesome. I watch all the playoffs. NFL, NHL. What other major sports am I missing? Major League Soccer, MLS. All right. I think that's a good time for me to sign off. Oh, is it today's the solstice? That means they're playing the midnight game in Alaska. That city in is it Fairbanks that they play a minor league baseball game and they first pitch is at midnight because the sun doesn't go down on the solstice. That's something fun that I would like to do at some point in my life. I've been to Alaska before. It's quite nice. I do not watch Formula One. That is also definitely one of my least favorite. Not even, it might be the least favorite. boring ass races, possible to consume and go to. It's not for me. NASCAR has much better drivers. All right. I'm going to bounce. I'm going to go make some dinner and get ready for this game. Till next time, my friends, we will be speaking on Monday. I will have dropped the season recap video. By that point, you can give me some feedback on it. We will have an NBA champion. You'll also have the Game 7 hype video. What else? Maybe we have a major trade. I feel like a lot is going to happen between now and then. So that's the next time I'll be back here on this show. But we could have birds in the air. Given Antonio will be back from his basketball camp on Monday. So give and go, we'll have our starters back on the floor. And the post-game show, Sunday night, 2.5 hours with Coach Sam Mitchell. Until then, my friends, it has been a pleasure. Hope you guys had a good week. Go outside. You earned it. Go have a nice Friday. Go enjoy a nice adult beverage. And if you're vegan, Barbie, something green. GG's in the chat. I will see you on the timeline.